Hansel and Gretel. Once upon a time, there lived a poor lumberjack who had a son and a daughter named Hansel and Gretel. They did not have a mother, but the two lived happily with their father. One day, Hansel and Gretel's father remarried, not knowing how unkind she would be to his children. She was always waiting for a chance to abandon them. The stepmother begged her husband to abandon the children.
"We're too poor to raise the children. Let's abandon them in the forest before we all starve to death."
The lumberjack couldn't say a word. Hansel overheard their conversation by the door. The next day, the stepmother took Hansel and Gretel to the forest. Gretel said worriedly,
"Hansel, what are we going to do?"
Hansel replied,
"Don't worry, I've got an idea."
He dropped the breadcrumbs that his father gave him along the trail.
"When the night comes, we'll just need to follow the crumbs home."
The stepmother suddenly disappeared, and it was soon nightfall. Hansel tried to find the breadcrumbs, but they had been eaten by the birds. He said,
"We are in trouble. There are no breadcrumbs to show the way to our home."
His sister said,
"Hansel, I'm scared."
Then a white bird started flying around Hansel and Gretel.
"Let's follow the bird."
Hansel and Gretel chased after the bird. Hansel shouted in excitement,
"Wow, look at that! Hansel, that house is made of cookies!"
Hansel and Gretel found themselves in front of a house made of delicious cookies. They started eating the cookies because they were so hungry. Then a scary witch suddenly appeared.
"You little mongrels! How dare you eat my house of cookies!"
Hansel and Gretel were so scared that they couldn't move at all. The witch grabbed Hansel and Gretel. She snickered and said,
"Why, you two look delicious. I'll eat you after I fatten you up."
The witch locked up Hansel in the cellar and made Gretel cook fattening foods. A few days passed, and the witch felt Hansel's fingers to check if he had gotten any fatter.
"Oh, this is odd. Why hasn't he gained any weight?"
Hansel had noticed the witch couldn't see very well, so he made the witch touch the uneaten bones.
"I can't wait any longer. I'll just eat the girl first."
The witch made Gretel heat a huge cauldron full of water. The witch said,
"Let's see if the water is boiling."
As soon as she opened the lid, Gretel pushed her into the boiling water. The witch screamed,
"Somebody help me!"
Hansel and Gretel came home with the witch's treasures. They said,
"Dad, we're home! Dad, we're home!"
Their father cried and said, "I'm sorry, kids." The terrible stepmother wasn't there because she had been kicked out of the house. Hansel, Gretel, and their father lived happily ever after.